Hello and welcome. This is Tom Vassell from the Dice Tower, and it is September 21st, 2015, and we're glad to talk to you all today. I apologize. Last week, I thought we were going to do a live Q&A on Friday, but the week was just incredibly busy, and we had a lot of, we were working on the Essen previews. There's a lot of work that goes into those to look at the games and learn about them. But hey, I'm just glad that I'm able to be here today. So I'm going to take any questions here, but I'm going to take any questions that show up in the comments. It's very possible that you may have already asked a question, but also apparently there was a game of games being played there, so that's taking up a lot of the comments. So I'm just going to go to the bottom, and any questions that show up on the bottom, I'll answer those first. Just finished 5 reviews this morning. Trying to get a lot of reviews done today because we got to get things cranking this week since we'll be going to Grand Con for the second half of the week. Garrett asked, when's your Crossmaster Quest review coming out? Well, Lord willing, this week. So you should see that one sometime this week. All right. It was great to see the excitement displayed in the Pandemic Legacy video. Is it playable after it's completed? We don't know yet. We are now 12 games in to Pandemic Legacy, and we have a possible 4 to 8 games left. I would be mind-boggled if it was 4. We're assuming we'll have 7 or 8 left. Okay. But we're assuming that it's finished when we're done. I don't see how it could continue on, but I don't know. We will not know till it ends. And, I mean, it would be really nice if Z-Man would just tell us the answer to that, but it is what it is. And because they won't tell us the answer is why I am assuming that it does end. Again, I don't think that's a problem because let's say we do finish it in 4 more games. No way. That'd be 16 games total, but I don't see that happening. But let's say we did finish it in 4 more games. 16 games, 16 hours of fun. I mean, real fun with great storytelling and stuff. That's better than a movie. And if the 4 of us had gone to watch a movie together, it might not cost $60. We could find a cheap movie theater, but that would still last 2 hours. If we wanted to go watch the entire Lord of the Rings, that would cost way more than $60. And this game is giving me more entertainment than sitting down and watching the entire Lord of the Rings series. So, anyhow, I don't know in that regard. We do hope to have the game finished by Essen. We were planning to play it some more this week, but just because of Grand Con, that won't happen. But next week, we'll play it. We're gonna put we've been playing 2 games a day. Starting in the morning, we play 2 games, and we got a lot of other stuff to do. So next week, if we start on Tuesday and play 2 games each day till Friday, we should have it done, right? Because that's 8 games. So we'll see. We've been doing well lately in the game. We actually just won 3 times in a row. We feel very confident we're going to lose this one, but you never know. And just as for the people who are coming on and watching now for the first time, just remember I do not answer every question. Some questions have been answered before in the past. Some, I'm not, I usually don't answer very specific questions like, what should I buy next? Well, that's kind of on you, but I will answer questions that basically I find interesting to answer. Are tile laying games making a comeback? Possibly. I don't think 2 or 3 tile laying games a comeback makes. This is what we noticed when we looked over the Essen games. Pirate games are in. The pirate theme is huge right now. I'm cool with that. Hope as long as next year it's something else. We don't need to pirate the thing to death. But pirate themes are huge. Deduction games like Werewolf, those kind of style games are very big right now too. Those would be the 2 trends I'm noticing now. Let's see. How old did Z turn on his birthday? Well, you'll have to ask him that, not me. That's for him to tell, folks. What is the next game slated to leave your collection? That's not how it works. I don't have like a game that's on the precipice. When I get a game, I look at the games of that box size. Then I say, is there a game that of all the ones in that box size that I play the least, I'll get rid of that. Or maybe one that's really similar to the game that I'm about to keep. Like I just kept, for example, Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. And that one's right here behind me. And in that spot was Zendo, which was I like Zendo a lot, but then I thought, there's a new copy of Zendo coming out eventually, so I'll just get that copy and I'll get rid of Zendo for now and put this one in its spot. Have you found your booth number at Essen? Yes. I thought we told the folks that before, but I can tell people I know it's in Hall 7. I believe it's C112, but let me just double check on that. It is... Yes, 7C112. From what I understand, we're pretty close to the Board Game Geek booth. What's the next top 10 list coming? Well, we are actually not doing a top 10 list this week. I usually try to do one every other week, but just this week, instead of the top 10, we're doing the Essen preview videos. I hope you enjoy them, though. There's 5 of them. We did 20 games per video. They're running between 25 and 30 minutes in length. So that's a lot of content, and I hope that you enjoy watching those. Those should all go up tomorrow. We put a lot of thought into the games we put on the list. 100 games isn't all of the games. Obviously, there's 600 plus games, but we picked 100 games that we thought were interesting. Now, likely, one of our favorite games from the convention will be one we didn't even mention. But, we got to do something. But the next top 10 list coming will then come probably the week of Essen. We'll post a top 10 list. What is that top 10 list? I'm not sure yet. Do you remember the rules for the games you own, or do you have to go through the rules when you play them? Well, I almost always have to look at the rules, at least for setup. Like, does this card start with 5 cards or 6 cards in your hand? Minor, but there are some games I don't need to look at the rules at all. Although it invariably seems that somebody will come up with some situation I never encountered before. So I'll look that one up. Is Libertalia still your favorite pirate game? Probably not. I probably like Rum and Bones better. What did you get Z for his birthday? Well, since I haven't given it to him yet, that is a surprise. It's not that big of a deal. But wow, guys, there is a ton of questions here. Is there any hint as to what the other big video mentioned last week is going to be? There's no other big video, okay? The pandemic was a big one. I had hoped to get a scoop on the Seven Wonders Duel, but that came in late, and I've already seen it pop up in other places. So Seven Wonders Duel will be coming this week, and you should watch that review because that game is awesome sauce, which I can say because it's a word in the dictionary now. But really, really good game. We'll ever do a top 10 books? We might. I need to talk to Sam and Z about that. I'd like to do that as one of our pop culture top 10s. Top 10 books, but I don't know. That'd be interesting, like our top 10. I don't know how much both of them read. I know they don't read nearly as much as I do. Maybe. Let's see. Now, someone's asked me if I'm going to review the expansions for Abyss and Roll for the Galaxy before or after Essen. I can feel pretty confident at this point that if you have that question about pretty much any game, it's going to be after Essen at this point. Because I have the games that set up that I'm reviewing this week. And I have a pretty good idea of the games I'm going to be reviewing next week. I'm looking at some of them now. And so that's only going to be about 10 games this week and 10 games next week. So there's a lot of games, obviously, they're going to have to wait till after Essen. I'll be reviewing something else during the week of Essen, though. You have to keep an eye on that. It's something I've been meaning to do for a while, and it's something... it's another one of my ideas. It might bomb, but I had this idea, and I don't want to give it away yet because I'm still working on it, but you should see that during Essen. And it's thundering here. Huzzah! What's your opinion on GMT's P500, even on such popular games like Twilight Struggle? Just for people who don't know what P500 is, P500 predated Kickstarter. P500 was what GMT would do is they would say, this is the game we want to make, blah, blah, blah. Will you pre-order it? So people would pre-order it. You don't actually pay any money until it reached a certain number. And it was never, they call it P500 or P1000. It was never 500. They would like wait till they had like 700. Then they'd say, okay, boom, we're making the game now. They would charge all those credit cards. They would make the game. All those people who pre-ordered it would get it first, and then the extra games would be sold in stores and such. It's been a business model that's worked for them. Doesn't work for most people, most companies. I think you have to have a dedicated fan base like GMT does. And Kickstarter has kind of made the P500 obsolete. Why would you use that over Kickstarter? Because Kickstarter is, despite what the Kickstarter staff tells you, it's a pre-order system. I had a chance to talk to a Kickstarter guy at Gen Con, and he came up and said, so what do you think about the site? And man, I spent some time telling him exactly what I thought of many of the different things. Like, I don't know why Kickstarter makes putting add-ons such a difficult process. If you've never run a Kickstarter, their back-end process for when you guys fill out those surveys and things is just abysmal. Terrible, and they will not fix this stuff because why should they? They're getting money. Kickstarter Kickstarter is it's a very useful tool, but the people who run that website, they don't put much effort into it at all. It's like hardly change. Then if it does change, very rarely for the better. Autoplay videos? Who thought that was a good idea? Idiotic. Anyhow, let's see here. Will we be reviewing Legendary Predator? Yes, but I put that on Z's pile, so that's coming, but I don't know when. That would be up to him. Can you share what you learned during last month's competition regarding favorite segments? Well, no. That's my information. I keep that because I'll tell you what. If I share that information, the people who do those segments, whoever got the lowest amount of votes would be disenfranchised by it. They would be. So I don't give out that information. I will say that pretty much every segment, somebody said I like it. So you may hate a certain one, but somebody liked it. There was some, obviously, that people liked the best. Chaz Marler certainly got probably the highest amount of people liking his stuff. Tom Thinks, the news, the Kickstarter news, those are the four that were by far the ones people liked the most. What games that didn't get a lot of buzz from last year do you think might become popular later? Sleeper hits? I don't know that sleeper hits will happen very often because the buzz goes on. I'm trying to think of many sleeper hits in general. You know, one sleeper hit that I know very distinctly was Glory to Rome. Because I know when that game came out, I reviewed it. I said, this game is great. It's neat. It's original. And some people agreed with me, but I didn't hear much about it. Then as time went by, it started getting more and more buzz until Cambridge Games reprinted it. It was gotten a lot of buzz at that point in time. Have you played Seven Wonders Duels? Yes, that's going up this week. It is slightly irresponsible to have so many children in this day and age of overpopulation and resource concerns. I apologize, Todd. I will eat less food to make up for it. Is that fair? What is your favorite number of players in Cosmic Encounter? 6. Have we done top 10 space? Well, we done top 10 science fiction, in which we argued to death what was science fiction. Battlegrounds for Mage Wars. I'm going to be reviewing that probably next week. It was going to be reviewed this week, but then I played another game that I wanted to talk about sooner. Ships from Martin Wallace. That one's more of a higher priority game, so that got pushed to the front. Also, Mage Wars Battlegrounds isn't available yet, so I decided to pull that one off just another week. It's coming. Do you ever purposely make bad moves so that a new player can have a better, more fun experience? I have done that. I will not say how often, and when, and where, and I know some people disagree with that, but I don't care. For me, it's all about the fun. I definitely do that when I'm the DM sometimes. Do I wear specific hats to games when I'm playing casually with friends and not grading games? No, I just wear one of my hats to gaming that day. I don't know, I just pick the one I feel like wearing that day. Is there any chance of getting other non-Dice Tower people in on the week in review action? Well, I'm not sure who. Rodney, they mention here, but Rodney doesn't review games, so then that wouldn't make any sense. And Undead Viking, who pretty much only previews Kickstarter games these days, so that also doesn't make sense. Rado, well, I mean, Rado was going to post his videos on my website, and he started putting up a few, I think, and then that kind of faded away. So I don't think he would do it. Besides, he emphatically says that the stuff that he does is not a review. Right. But he says they're not reviews. But, I mean, if there's other prolific reviewers out there who are interested in that, then they can contact me, and I would certainly be willing to showcase that because I'm here to push reviews and things. The oldest board game still in my collection is probably Ave Caesar, maybe? That's one's from the 80s, I think. I don't really have that many old games, and I don't care if that makes me cold to the new. In my opinion, the 80s had a dearth of good games compared to the 90s, which had a dearth of good games compared to the aughts, which I won't say that the teens are not as good as are better than the aughts, but I'm telling you, once 2000 came, gaming just the amount of good games was amazing. It is not possible to get a copy of Nothing Personal at my booth in Spiel 2015 because I do not sell the game. Game Salute sells Nothing Personal. So, if you would like to get Nothing Personal, go to Game Salute's booth. If you do get it from them, though, and come over to me, I will sign a copy of it. What are some of your favorite mechanisms that are not worker placement in Euro games? Well, I really like drafting, although I wouldn't call that a Euro mechanism, but I really like drafting a lot. Wow, those are the first two that come to mind. You know, these other... maybe I'd have to sit down and actually make that list up. Sorry, it's not coming to my mind off the top of my head. Let's see. Do you think the board game hobby needs a revamped site of Board Game Geek? It seems too clunky for a newbie like me. Well, they're actually revamping it, and they plan to launch the new site in the next couple months. Oh, the big video was not Phase 10 review. Did I enjoy making that review? I did. I thought it'd be highly entertaining. What happened was I went to the stores on Force Friday at Walmart at midnight. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get some new Star Wars games to review them. And there was nothing there. And I was like, Then I saw Phase 10 on the shelf. And I thought, you know what? I always tell people this is my least favorite game. Let's get a copy and let's review it. So that's what I did. What are these ideas I'm planning for Dice Tower 2016? Clues and hints? I can't. I will say this. One of the... I'm looking at Dice Tower 2016, like, goals and things. And one of the things that we really want to work on is... There's two major things that we want to work on is... Well, three. One is video editing improvement. I need to get... Like, I'm using Final Cut Pro and iMovie to edit my videos. Z and Sam are both using iMovie. They both should move up to Final Cut Pro. I almost use Final Cut Pro exclusively now. And so that's something we need to do. Secondly, we want to get better audio. Okay? I want to get some sets of lavalier mics that we can all wear when we do our top 10s, but also that we can wear when we go to conventions and things so that we can have a mic system that we just bring, hook up to whatever stereo system they have. I think that would be a good thing overall just to get better sound here. And then the third thing would be streaming, and I have some specific ideas that what I like to do with streaming to make streaming better, but we'll have those fleshed out a little bit more at the Kickstarter. So I'm always trying to think of what we could do to make the show better. I don't know that we can get more content out at this point in time. We're trying to do 4 to 5 videos a day, and I think that comes out well, except Monday, I guess, is board game. Monday is board game breakfast and the live video usually. Although we might break 2 million views in September. It's possible. Because at September 15th, we had 1 million views, which I was like, what? Can we do it? Probably not, though. I don't know. We'll see. But it's exciting to think about. 2 million views in a month would be neat. What's the best structure to explain a game? I keep meaning to make a video on how to teach a game. Although, honestly, if you want to learn how to teach a game, go watch Rodney Smith from Watch It Played. He'll show you how to do it. He's the master of teaching a new game. Off the top of my head, though, always explain the end first. Tell people why they're doing what they're doing. It really is frustrating to me when I'm playing a game and I can't, okay, do this to do that, but why am I doing all this? That's always helpful. And that's when I'm teaching a game sometimes, because I'll teach from the rule book, and now when I go to the rule book, I always go to the end. I always look where I'm trying, how are we going to win? And then everything goes to that point. Um, I don't often keep an eye on Kickstarter games, but Gloomhaven certainly has me intrigued because of the whole legacy factor. Pandemic Legacy has been such a blast. And as much as I like Pandemic, it's because of the legacy part of it. I love that idea. And I really can't wait to see that done. But I'm telling you what, we're going to see in the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to see some companies try cheap knockoffs of the legacy where it's not that big of a deal, or it's unbalanced. The Pandemic Legacy, when the stuff shows up and how it works, is such a work of art. I was so impressed. The story is very natural. There has been one major surprise in the game, but lots and lots and lots of minor surprises, and there has been a couple things I predicted because it just seemed like that's where the story would go, and it did. I like that. How would you solve the problem in Dead of Winter that people who understand that they cannot win will lose the game for everybody else? Not play with that person again in Dead of Winter. Very simple solution. I don't understand that mindset. I will never tank a game because I can't win it for everyone else's sake. How joyless is that? And, I understand Dead of Winter if I don't reach my personal goal that I can't win the game. But if I'm still a good guy and my team wins, I feel a minor victory there. Any update on the Dice Tower cruise? Well, funny you should ask. We have made some major progress. We are now working with numbers, timing, and all that information. As soon as that's solidified, and I think I can safely say that within a month, we should be able to tell you the details of that, but I'm very excited about it. It seems like a lot of what I want, which is basically a big area to play games, is going to be very possible. Very excited about that, okay? But I can't tell you more than that, really, because we don't have anything set in stone. But once we do, doors busted wide open. But I did talk to somebody about the cruise for an hour or so on Saturday, and we got all the details straight and everything, and now I'm just waiting to hear back from them, and then we go into that. When will the People's Top 100 Games be released? Well, obviously after Essen. I'll probably wait and close it a week after Essen, the voting. And then we'll put those together and probably do those within a few weeks. Would you ever review Exploding Kittens? Yeah, sure, I'd review it. I haven't got a copy of it, so that's why I haven't yet. I thought about hunting down a copy to get, but I just haven't done that yet. Oh, sorry, Sam says I didn't answer his text. Hang on, let me... Me. All right. How do you balance your work gameplay versus your personal fun play? That's all mashed together. Oh, what kind of music do you like? I'm very eclectic in my music taste. I think I've said this before, but my point with music is I want happy music. Happy, cheerful, energetic is my favorite type of music. There are times where I have an easy listening Pandora station that's basically based on Karen Carpenter stuff when I just want to kind of mellow out and just, kind of fade back. But I don't often listen to that because I often listen to music when I'm driving, and I don't need that kind of music when I'm driving since I fall asleep so very easily. I can fall asleep while driving, which is not a good thing, so I must keep myself awake any way I can. But I just like happy music, like, for example, the song Happy. But I like a lot of Broadway. I like stuff from musicals. I like very peppy pop style songs, whether they're from the 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s, or even, modern stuff. But Honey, I'm Good, that's a very popular song. That's the kind of stuff I like, I think, to some degree. But I thumb down tons of stuff in my Pandora station, trying to get it exactly what I like. No one else likes it. I always have to turn off my station when anyone else comes around. Because I got stuff from the Muppets mixed with Disney songs, mixed with Broadway, mixed with this, and there's something invariable that someone's not going to like. But who cares? Do you think there is a game out there that you have not played that could make your top 20 of all time? Well, that stuff is always possible, right? I mean, it's always possible that there's something out there that would make my top 20. I mean, but in reality, if we take out anything that's not been published yet, right? Because it's very possible something is published. But everything that's already been published, then no, I don't think so. Because I do keep an eye on the gaming market to some degree, and I even, there's a lot of games I haven't played, but I've seen and heard about them. And if I think a game is really that fantastic and amazing, I will hunt that game down and try to play it somehow. I think there's possibly games in existence that might have hit my top 100. I don't know. But I've played a lot of games, so I don't know. Boy, that thunder is really crackling. Have you seen the designer's massive Duel of Ages 2 strategy thread over on Board Game Geek? No, but I wouldn't read it probably anyway. I don't read strategy guides for games normally, and Duel of Ages is so fun, like just going out and playing the different characters. I don't know why I would want to read tips on strategy. It's just not something that interests me. What are your thoughts on video game players migrating over to board game hobby? I used to play tons of video games, but I've really transitioned into board game over the past years. Well, that's very natural. You have to remember that the video game hobby has almost transcended as it's just something everybody does. I mean, realize that just shy of 100% of teenagers play video games in some form or fashion. All right, so when I hear that people transition from that to board gaming, it's not like, ooh, we're winning them over. No, they're just people who, of course they were playing video games, now they play board games. And it just, I think sometimes it has something when you get older. You want more of that social interaction, and board games provides that. Not that video games are bad. Can I share some ideas I was going to do for the Dice Tower and decided not to? I'll tell you something that I always talk about these funny comedy videos that we're going to do, and we like, oh, that'd be great, we should do that, and then we don't get around to doing it. Because, I mean, comedy is great and all, but you actually have to have content. And I guess comedy is content, but that's not who we are. Comedy would have to be a number two to the content that we have already. Pirates are the new zombies. Well, yes, and everyone's going to say that sort of nonsense. Whatever. Plaster a theme all over you want. You know what, though? I'll tell you this. This is what ticks me off about zombies. Is that zombies are the same in all the games that they are. With one major exception. And I'll talk about that some other time. But for the most part, they shuffle towards you and you shoot them with weapons. They don't act different. Even vampire games or Cthulhu games, which there are many of them, they have different feels in different ways. Most zombie games feel the exact same. Dead of Winter was a little bit different in how it felt, but I mean, you look at zombies compared to, the zombie side, compared to zombie apocalypse, compared to, they're essentially the same kind of things. That's what frustrates me. That theme, you can like zombies all you want, but the theme in it, the way it fits into games, was so narrow. While Pirates is a much more open thing. Cool Mini or Not games look amazing, but the tons of Kickstarter exclusive things in each one put me off. Is Arcadia Quest and the like worth getting retail? I keep saying this over and over again, but I don't understand that philosophy that you feel bad because you don't have everything that Kickstarter people did. I'm telling you, the recent reviews that I've done of Rum and Bones and Blood Rage, those are with the copies that are not Kickstarter copies, and I'm trying to make a point to do that. Even in Arcadia Quest, I have some of the Kickstarter stuff, but I have only reviewed it using and showing the stuff that you can get from the base game itself, and I love them. Sure, that extra stuff is fun, but you do not need it. And deprive yourself of a game because you can't get that extra stuff, and you can if you really wanted to. It's mind-boggling to me. Whatever happened to the review of Broom Service? Did Z not do Broom Service? I thought he did. I thought he reviewed Broom Service. If he didn't, maybe we'll review it this week or next week. We'll probably get that one up. Have you ever considered reprinting War Angel, your number one hidden treasure game for the Dice Tower Essentials line? War Angel is certainly a unique game, and I did like it, and I love the fact that he had like 100 different races for it, but it needed some major streamlining and stuff. That's an interesting idea, but it would need major streamlining. I don't know. I'd have to consider that. That's interesting, but it would have to be streamlined so that it makes sense work now. I don't think that there have been as many big hit games that have come out this year. Well, I disagree on that. But the ones that have or are coming out seem very innovative. Pandemic, Legacy, 504, etc. I don't necessarily agree there's not big hit games coming out. I mean, I think we'll have some very big hit games coming out. And I think Pandemic Legacy is going to be a huge hit this year. I really do. I think we've already seen some big hits this year. I mean, Mysterium's a big hit. Codenames. Yes, we're seeing a lot of innovation though this year. It's going to be very intriguing, the Dice Tower Award for Most Innovative Game next year. I really am curious about that. What happened to Ian James? I'm going to assume he's going to school, and that keeps him busy right now. How's the workout regimen going? Still hating it. You said expectation affects your opinions of games. How do you think your review of Mysterium would have changed if you had heard nothing about it before you played it? Well, I liked Mysterium. Don't get me wrong. I didn't dislike it. I like it. I just thought it was fine. But you're right. The hype had been hype. I don't know what I would have thought of it without the hype. That would have been a difficult thing to do. I don't know. It's the color coordination by intent. Red hat, red shirts times 2. Well, I am now married. I've been married. I used to not coordinate my clothing at all. And I still don't care that much. But my wife has taught me a few things. So it's a little by design, but not that big of a deal. You got Board Game Breakfast. Z has Board Game Blender. Is it time to promote Sam and then take charge of Miami Dice? Sam is doing other things. Sam's actually in charge of the top 100 lists that you've seen. But Sam also is doing the Dice Steeple, an audio podcast. I apologize. I didn't mean to sigh at these. There's a lot of questions, and I'm really, really behind here. Wow. There is so much questions. I'm really, really far back here. All right. What happened to the Amish look? Well, I don't know. I just changed. I might go back. We'll see. What happened to Fantasy Flight's Cosmic Con? Well, to be clear, that wasn't Fantasy Flight who did Cosmic Con. It was the guys who ran Cosmic Encounter. They did Cosmic Con. They just did it in conjunction with Fantasy Flight. So if they did another one, I think they were happy with that one. I don't know how often we'll see a new one. Stop banging the table, Vassal. My apologies. I'm sure you asked that probably 20 minutes ago. So sorry about that. If the Dice Tower continues to be successful, why can't you pay yourself a higher salary? You work hard enough. It's not that I don't want to pay myself a higher... It's not that I can't. There's no rule. I just don't want to. I don't want to make a lot of money in my life. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to... Well, as a Christian, I think my first goal is to serve God. But I just want to make enough money to support my family. Doing extra things that are fun is a nice thing in that regard. But if I can help other people... I could probably give myself a decent salary this year, a good one. But I was able to hire 2 people. I'd rather do that because that grows the Dice Tower. It's exciting to me. I don't know why that is. My favorite game from Gen Con? Blood Rage. Easy. Let's see here. For those who... sometimes folks, you ask a question like, what do you think about a specific game? And I've done a review of that game. You should check that first, and that actually gives you my very detailed thoughts on that game. Let's see here. I hear from disgruntled gamers their disappointment with the tons of mid-weight, hour-long games coming out. Do you think this is because they are jealous that their games aren't getting as much love? That's 100% what it is. I don't understand that. I mean, the fact is that people don't want to play 2 to 4 hour long, complicated Euro games. Some people do, just like most people don't want to play 3+ war games. But some people do. So those games are still printed. And honestly, I think they're printed in the same amounts that they were printed years ago. We're just seeing more of the midweight stuff because that's what people want. Of course there's more of them. Because more people want those. Who cares? They sell tons of Munchkin. I'm not a big fan of Munchkin, but I don't care. What does it matter if there's more Munchkin type stuff sold than the games I like? There's plenty of the games I like being sold. Are you going to have available chat time at Essen? I really want to get to speak with you. Well, yes. I mean, if you hunt me down, I mean, I might be in the middle of something, but if not, sure, come by and say hi. We always tell you people to do that at conventions. If you, Z, and Sam got into a street fight, who would win? I don't know who would win. I suspect I know who would lose. Top 10 pizza toppings. All right, here we go. Chicken. My favorite thing on a pizza, hands down. Then pepperoncini. No, shrimp. Shrimp would be number 2. Chicken, shrimp, then pepperoncini. Then spinach, go figure. I really like spinach on a pizza. Green peppers. Banana peppers, that's 6. Ham would be 7. Salami would be 8. 9 would be sriracha sauce, actually. I'm really enjoying Pizza Hut doing that sort of thing. And 10, probably pineapples, which is something I would never expect it, but I just really do like having pineapples on pizza. All right. My favorite cheese, probably Swiss. Definitely melted Swiss is by far the best. Pepper Jack is pretty close behind that. What thing do you miss the most from Pennsylvania? The food, by far. Also, I would say it's a tie between the food and then the rich cultural heritage that's there. There's so many things to do in Pennsylvania. To take, I thought about taking my kids up to Pennsylvania just to go look at stuff. There's so much stuff between Lancaster and Harrisburg and Gettysburg and Hershey and just all these different cities and it's just Philadelphia. It's amazing what's there. Has Tabletop reached out to you about joining them, about being on next season? No, I don't know why people keep thinking they do. I think I'm just I don't think they know who I am. In fact, one of my guys grabbed a business card from them at Gen Con and said, oh, they want you to email them. I was like, fine. So I emailed them, and they were kind of like, thank you for emailing us. We don't really know who you are that much, but we're glad you emailed. Like, okay, fine. They don't know who we are. And that's fine. That's fine. I thought they wanted to talk to me, and apparently they didn't. I just want to say that even though I like Jason in small doses, his top 100 has been the best of everyone's. By far the purest Omni gamer, you need to tap that diversity. Jason is by far the best, has the most diverse game 100 list. There's no question on that. And I've been getting some garbage on the top 100 list for people like, you're so mean to Jason. And we're just ribbing each other. You don't see him ribbing back so much, especially on camera, because he's very conscious about, when he's on camera, he's very conscious of that fact. But I'm mostly there to keep the videos from being about 2 hours long each. And I make no apologies for that. I'm there also to challenge him for why he says his stuff is good. But in the long run, I don't really care what's on his list. And I'm glad that it's on his list, and I'm glad people are enjoying those. And I think it'll be interesting when you guys see what his number 1 game is. Are you afraid Elder Char will blow up like Arkham and become too big? I suspect it will be. Probably. I don't see... They say it won't, but... I think so. How long have you been saying huzzah? I don't know. I think I got huzzah from Dork Tower Comics, because they said a lot there. Are you planning more live plays? Yes, probably after Essen, we'll be doing some more live plays. Remember, our live plays are often in the weeks where there are fewer things going on. Because we're going to Grand Con this week, no live plays this week. Because next week is the prep week for Essen, no live plays that week. Because the week after that is Essen, no live plays that week. However, the week after that, recovery from Essen, so maybe. But the week after that, very high likelihood. I know that seems like a lot in between, but more than will come as time goes by. If YouTube never existed, do you think you still would have pursued board games as your career? Probably not. I mean, YouTube is by far the definite catalyst for that. The podcast is great, but I don't think the podcast could have ever launched a career. I don't know that anybody is doing a board game podcast where they could survive on just the podcast. The fact is that videos is huge. I mean, the number of people who watched my videos as opposed to the number of people who listen to the podcast is much bigger. Although I've always felt like the people who listen to the audio podcast are more diehard fans. But it's just kind of a mix of them, I think. Let's see here. Where did you get the blue fabric tree shelf inserts? I'm assuming you're talking about these. Let's see. You still can't see them. There they are. Over there on the side. I don't know. I found them online. I was looking for some new. I was going to buy some inserts for the shelves, and I saw the tree, and I was like, I really liked how that looked. So that was what I got. I don't know. I thought it was cool. When I game with my wife, do you usually select the game or her? Well, it depends. If it's a new game, I was like, hey, do you want to play this game? And if she says no, then we don't. If she says yes, then we do. Otherwise, I mean, I would let her pick, I guess. Did you watch WWE Night of Champions? I did not watch it. I was too busy. Honestly, the only event that I go out of my way to watch every year is Royal Rumble. I don't know what it is. I just love the Royal Rumble. Other than that, like those big event matches, they're interesting and okay, but the Royal Rumble is always interesting to me because there's more than two people fighting, and I find that entertaining. Do you think Pandemic Legacy would work for 2 players? I do. What car do you drive? I drive a 12-passenger Ford van because that's what I need for my family. Although I told Melody as soon as she leaves the house, we're going down to a minivan. Yes. I also have a Toyota car. The best Indiana Jones film for me by far is The Holy Grail. The tank sequence is probably my favorite sequence in any movie. The whole tank sequence. I just love that part of the movie. I like all the Indiana Jones movie, even the newest one. But that tank sequence, it's better than the truck sequence in the first movie, in my opinion. Let's see here. Where, how do you store all recorded videos, and for how long typically? Well, I keep videos. I don't keep everyone's videos. I keep videos definitely for a few weeks, just in case. For my videos, I usually keep them for a year or so. Right now, I'm sitting on 12 terabytes of storage. So I have a lot of room, but I'm using probably 7 of that at this point in time. Well, actually, I probably got 13 terabytes, so probably 8 of that I'm using. Video takes up a lot of room. Let's see here. Are Melody and Ryan updating their top 100 list? I don't know if Melody will do hers or not. She might. We talk about it. She's just so busy, folks, these days. the life of a teenager can get tremendously busy, and she's working at the zoo and doing school and doing other things. Ryan is not doing his this year because the only person who does hers every year is right now is me and the People's Choice and maybe Melody. The other ones I try to do a year on a year off type thing. Like Eric's doing his this year, but he didn't do it last year. I guess it has been 2 years since Ryan has done his. Maybe we'll have Ryan do his next year. I don't know, but Ryan's also very busy. You'll notice that his video output is not quite so much these days. Not for any reason. He's just very busy at his job and such. Let's see here. Where did you get the red fedora? I found it online. I just looked up red fedoras. I actually wanted a red fedora. Oh, this person keeps saying stop hitting the table. I've stopped like a long time ago. And I know that's because I'm behind here in the questions. But again, if you ask me something, you don't need to say it like 20 times. And I don't know why I'm looking at my microphone because that doesn't make any sense. Let's see here. You said that board gaming hobby and business are doing well at the moment. Do you think there will be a bust at some point? People getting tired of complicated new mechanics? No, I don't think that will happen. But I mean, there might be a bust in board gaming just in general because people moved on to something else. That's always possible, but I just don't worry about those things in the future. When can we expect a video of Jason's game collection? When the timing works out. Almost every time I go, Jason lives an hour from me, and while he is incredibly content to travel an hour and back in a blink, I am less interested in doing that. So I go up to Cool Stuff's very near his house. I go up there once a month, and one of these days I will go up there early and record his collection at his house. It's just that every time I have a Cool Stuff thing, I've been doing something that morning. Did I ever finish Pillars of Eternity? I didn't because I got to the main bad guy. I think he's the main bad guy, and I can't beat him. So I might go. For some reason, when I play these games, I'm like in the zone, play, and then I'll pause and I'm like, okay, I'll come back to that later, and then I just don't. I will probably get back to it. The downloadable content I'll probably get at some point because more is always better, and I want them to download more. You know what else it is? I leveled up all my guys, and I can't level them up anymore. And I guess that just bugs me. I want to be able to continue to level up, even if that level up is much harder and much longer. It gives me some goal to aspire to. So if I can't level up my guys, it drives me nuts. Do you feel games should have both male and female characters so no one gets stuck playing a gender that they do not prefer? I don't know that I can say that exactly. That would depend on the theming of the game, right? I think in some games the gender roles are set in history or what have you. But let's say some generic game, then yes. And my preference is where there's a male on one side and a female on the other side, so it's the same character. You can use either one. Robinson Crusoe did that to great effect. In fact, I had wanted to do that for Sheriff of Nottingham, but they printed it because they were on a time crunch to get it out of Gen Con. They did not do that. And Sheriff of Nottingham has 4 male characters and 1 female. So I've told them that when the expansion, if the expansion ever comes out, that I want it to be females just so that there is that balance there. I think there should be. But again, historical and things may change that for whatever reason. Who will you hang out with when you go to the Spiel? Well, I don't know. It's me, Eric, Z, and Jason are going. At least one of us will have to be at the booth at all times, so that leaves 3. I sometimes at conventions, I just kind of go off on my own. So I go around and I talk to as many publishers and designers and people that I can. Just look at stuff. But as for hanging out, I mean, whoever I run into, I hang out with all sorts of people. It is what it is. Some of you are asking the same question twice. Naughty. If I don't answer it the first time, that means I wasn't interested in answering it. And if I did answer it the first time, the second time I get to it, I'm a little annoyed and I remember your name and won't answer your question next time. There's a ton of questions on here. I can't answer them all. Let's see here. Please take the entire contents of your brain and download them to the internet. Yeah. I wish there were more female designers also. Would you enjoy bacon flavored pie? No. And I'll tell you what. This bacon thing is totally overrated. I've never understood this. Put bacon in everything. Bacon, bacon. Thanks, Gaffigan. I mean, I like bacon. I don't dislike it. BLT is an amazing sandwich, but I never understood why everyone loves bacon and, I put bacon in everything. It's almost more of a thing that it's almost cool to say. I like bacon. The fact is, the answer is cheese. Cheese should be on everything. Cheese is where it's at. I don't know how I got into that. All right. A live play of Deception. Yeah, I think we're actually going to do a live play of Deception Murder in Hong Kong. That would be a fun one to do. That may happen during the... Oh, that was close. Wow, I almost committed to a marathon gaming thing. I said I wasn't going to do that. And I almost just committed us to doing it. If we were to do a marathon gaming, that's when I would do it. Wow, that was almost a slip of the tongue there. Let's see here. Wow, I'm reading a lot of these same questions twice, guys. Bad. Okay. Let's see. Is it rude to ask a gaming group to pitch in money if you're the only one that brings games to the table? Well, this is an iffy thing, right? Now, I bring a lot of games to the table, but I'm in a game group where a lot of other people bring games to the table too. I've never heard anyone complain about that. We do have at least one person in our game group who does not really like other people to touch their games, but they are the exception. Most people don't mind that at all. If I was the only person bringing the games, I would not be upset that other people play with them. Why should they pitch in? I'm the one getting them. It's not like if they didn't play with me, I wouldn't buy a specific game. I bought the game. Why would I not let them join in with me on it? Man, I don't know why I would let that bother me. I mean, if they're not buying games but only playing yours, that's fine. Now, if they're like, please buy this game so we can play it, that's problematic. But I don't know. That just doesn't seem like something I would worry about that much. Oh, now for food, that's different. I would ask people to pitch in for food. As if you're providing food. Well, if I'm hosting at my house, I wouldn't. But after a while, I might say, I usually would say things like, you're welcome to bring snacks if you would like. Usually people take that hint. And anytime I've said such a thing, there's always a few people who bring so much stuff that we're loaded for a while. And then there's always one guy who will bring like a small bag of chips and then eat more than everything else. But those people exist everywhere. There was once where I had a guy who came to my house, and I would actually put food in our cupboards in other places so that they would not just go and grab it and eat it, because they were very free to just eat whatever they wanted, and they would eat it all. And I was like, okay, I want to be generous, so here's your snack. There's no other snacks. Let's see here. Is the current plan for the cruise to be an adults-only affair, or is it going to be more family-focused like Dice Tower Con? 100% family-oriented. And I know that some people don't like that, but that is the way it is going to be. There are other ones that are adult-oriented. It is going to be family-oriented. Now, I will probably put rules, restrictions in place, like, let's say, the general gaming area, I might say after 9 p.m., no one under 12 is allowed in there, just because we want to, at nighttime, we want to have some relaxing time to play. And you would be surprised, not that big of a deal on a cruise anyway, because most of the kids can go and do kid stuff the entire time on these cruises. So that's not really a problem anyway. But definitely family focused. I told the cruise director that I expected there to be a large contingent of extra people who would not be gaming. They were just coming along, spouses and kids and things like that. Big deal for me. What non-board game related YouTubers do you follow? I don't necessarily follow any YouTubes. I like Clever Mojo a lot. I watch that all the time because I love top 10 lists, and they put out at least one every day. So I'm very enthusiastic about that. I like How It Should Have Ended. Honest Trailers sometimes. I don't watch it as much though. I like to watch music videos where someone will take a song and do something else with it. There's a video series that I can't remember the name of now where a girl plays on a piano. It's a pinball piano. And she takes tunes and just plays like video game tunes and different tunes on the piano. And it's amazing. I love that sort of thing. Double clicks type style. You're a Jays fan. When's the last time you've been to Toronto? I've never been to Toronto. I just picked the Blue Jays when I was a kid and just kind of stuck with it. Although it looks like I might be a good team to have picked this year, right? I might visit Toronto in 2016. We'll see. I'm thinking about it. Vassal sounds like a short version of some East European name. What were your ancestors called? Well, we're not actually sure, but we feel pretty confident the name was something like Wasylinski. And my grandfather was adopted, which is where the disconnect happens. But we think that my background is either Czech or Polish, and it was Wasylinski, and then when he came, it was Wassel, which then changed to Vassal. That is what my aunt has done tremendous amounts of research on the subject, and that is what she can find. My family tree is pretty short because we don't know much more beyond that, but that is what we're guessing. I'm kind of glad because Wasylinski would be a very long name to type, and I had to write my name a lot as a kid for various bad things. It's good to have a short game. Can we purchase Dice Tower shirts like this one? No, unfortunately, not like this one. These are not that cheap to make, these shirts, although, well, they're not that expensive. But I mean, when you factor in the price of the shirt. I've always, this is one of the things about the Dice Tower is, we don't necessarily have a uniform at Dice Tower. You pick a shirt you like, and we'll throw the logo on it. That's our philosophy. So I really like this kind of shirt, and this is my favorite shirt, I think, of all my Dice Tower shirts. This is my favorite one. I like it. It's loose. It's comfortable. I think it looks decent. And I love, love, love this logo, the Dice Tower logo. It's really cool. But anyhow, okay. Wait a minute. Are we at 3 o'clock? We are at 3 o'clock, which means we're shutting down. Unfortunately, it means I didn't get to everyone's questions, and I apologize about that. So I do appreciate that. Sorry I was hitting the table there for a while. I'll answer. There's a couple quick questions here at the end just to go through it. By the way, guys, I'm never going to do a top 10 rule books. I know, I've seen lots of questions about that. Yeah, there's great rule books, there's bad rule books. I would never be able to remember which 10 rule books I liked, and that would be the most boring video I think I've ever seen either. But anyhow, let's see here. Tom, what's your view on alcohol consumption? Off limits? I'm a teetotaler. I have actually never drunk a sip of alcohol in my life. Ever. So 39 years, never have. What's the best response when you teach a game and the person gets upset and accuses you of withholding rules just to win? Well, since I barely win, that's never happens. But if it does happen, I just say, hey, there's an asterisk. It's not a real game. It's just a teaching game. Did I say Clever Mojo? I meant Watch Mojo. Yeah, you're right. Will expansions be included in your top 100 games? Most anticipated games from Essen? They certainly will be, because there's a couple. One in particular I'm thinking of them is like in my top 5 things I'm excited about is an expansion. All right. Well, I think that's it for questions, guys. I appreciate everyone watching. There's a lot of people here. It must be a boring Monday for most people. All right. Well, keep an eye. Like I said, tomorrow we'll have up our Essen previews. Then the day on Wednesday, I got several reviews from the contributors. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you will see many of the reviews from me, Sam, and Z going up those days. And then next week, we'll do it all again. Well, not maybe the Essen preview, but we have other stuff coming, top 10 list, board game blender, things like that. So until next time, I appreciate everyone watching. I'm Tom Vassal, and it's been great talking to you guys. Except for those of you who kept asking the same question over and over and over and over again. It's like that kid in class who's like,